Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Today we're going to cover a guitar that technically should not exist. This is a Gibson USA SG Fusion from the S series of 2017. And at first glance here, it's just kind of a ugly, not very well painted SG that's a green color. You know, kind of a puke green. I'm a big fan of green colors, but not necessarily this one. It's got this goofy, tiny little headstock up here. You've got a wraparound bridge that's intonatable at least. Not quite the usual pickguard, master volume, master tone with a three-way toggle switch. But what makes this thing worthy of having an episode comes to the back. No, not the back of the guitar. The back of the neck. This is what I tell you guys, whenever I see maple listed in the spec sheets of a low-end Gibson, I always get excited because that means there's the possibility that you can find crazily flamed necks on these things that should not exist on a guitar of this price point. Because just in case you're not familiar with this model, this was like the lowest budget tier, kind of like a melody maker that they did in 2017. Now this particular instrument was part of Gibson's new S series, which was the response to all the haters saying, your products are too expensive, make a cheaper one, give it to me for free or I'll say it's overpriced in the comments section. The one that gained the most traction out of this series was the Firebird Zero. Pretty much everybody hated this thing, but when I reviewed it as a used guitar model, I thought, you know, it's not as bad as a lot of people think. But if you go into that guitar not expecting a traditional Gibson in sound and feel, they're actually okay. But I definitely would have never paid $500 new. The other one that gained traction was the Gibson M2 or M squared. I'm not really sure how they want you to pronounce that. People talked about this one because look at the plethora of colors here. Ebony, phantom gray, citron green, teal, strawberry milk, and bright cherry. Then there's the slightly higher end version of the M squared called the Les Paul Custom Studio. Wait, no, they've got that wrong. See, this is called the Custom Special. But the S series, the whole point behind it, once again, was for an inexpensive entry Gibson model, similar to like the Melody Makers, but spicing them up a little bit and having a few different price points available for entry-level models for people who wanted Gibson on the headstock. And they essentially just finished them as cheaply as they could. So why does a $400 guitar have a neck like this? That belongs on a custom shop piece. That's a one-piece flamed maple neck on top of it. And it just looks absolutely fantastic. But how much does this seller want for this guitar because of that neck? Well, you found somebody that appreciates it. They want $699. And are they going to get it? Yes, they will get that price because this is what I consider an extraordinary example of an ordinary guitar. And extraordinary ordinaries are some of my favorite ones to collect because it's always a lifelong chase. You don't even know if one actually exists for each model or not. It's just a wild goose chase. And it's this whole phenomenon is the reason why I'm waiting to review this particular model, because these guys also have maple necks. So if you watch Sweetwater, sometimes you can get lucky and you find one that just has insane figuring. Like this one right here actually has a decent amount, but I'm still looking for something similar to what we just found. And since it's hard to see behind the white and black colors, it's between this natural one and this cherry one. But no luck today. So you're probably wondering, how does this even happen? I'm honestly not 100% sure, but I think we can reasonably guess that Gibson just gets in a blank of wood, they designate it for a certain run, they don't necessarily push things off to the side, and it just happens to be put on a guitar like this. It's absolutely insane, but it's kind of the fun of collecting these things. I had a 2014 Gibson Futura that had a neck very similar to this. It was finished over in blue, so you can't quite see it as much as this one, but the fact that this one actually has an original natural finish is kind of exciting too, because there's a lot of possibilities you can do with this now. Most of these guitars sell on the used market for around $300 to $400. So you're definitely paying a premium for the highly figured neck, and you can't really do much with this body. I mean, you could technically fill this in and then refinish this and try to convert it into a regular SG, but SGs really aren't known for having super figured necks in the beginning. So I could see somebody purchasing this just to simply take the neck off of this and convert it into like a Les Paul, because you still have the open book headstock shape, kind of. You just need to add the headstock wings. That'd be a fun project for someone. But the reason why a lot of people don't like these guitars is they're very cheaply built. These bridges will actually kind of indent into the finish. They won't sit level. These humbuckers are double slugs, so they don't necessarily sound like a humbucker traditionally does, so that catches some people off guard. It's just a quick connect system here, top routed type thing. But perhaps the best thing to come out of Gibson's S series was this sleeper model from 2017. Well, that has to be about the worst name ever given to a guitar. The specs on this thing are phenomenal. You have a maple neck with a true rosewood fretboard and a swamp ash body. But if that's not enough, does that neck heel joint not look familiar? That's the same thing they're using on the Les Paul Modern. I guess I never really realized that it had been used before on entry-level models. One of these days I'm going to have to find one of those, because that is the best thing to come out of that whole series. So if you're interested in being the next owner of this SG Fusion, I'll put a channel supporting link in the description, but let's go ahead and hear how one of these sounds. Question left, would you rock this ridiculously flame neck SG Fusion or not? What would you do with it? Would you make a project out of it? Thank you, Troglodytes, for tuning in today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.